Well, hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Inside Melbourne. Of course, we're here thanks to Zurich, and somehow we've managed to rope in our co-host for a second week, the one and only Gawn.
Second week. How good's this? Obviously I was a little bit doubtful after last week. I called myself a mixture of Gary Ablett and Peter Street, somewhere in the middle. I said a relatively poor comment about an ex-coach in Paul Roos, but it was in good spirit, Katie. And we got a pretty exciting guest today, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. A man who's been an absolute jet in the back line, of course, Michael Hibberd. Welcome along.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks for having me on. Max, I don't think you'll get three goes in a row here, but thanks.
I'm supposed to be 5, so hopefully I can hold on.
I reckon you'll get the snip after this week, I would have thought.
Well, depending on your performance today, you could put yourself in the running.
Yeah, all right, I might try to get Maxie's seat for next week then.
Well, you guys must be pretty happy with how things are going. Of course, 6 wins on the trot, another good win against the Bulldogs on the weekend, and a huge week this week coming up with Queen's birthday. Yeah,
we're in some good form. The Bulldogs actually gave us a fair contest. 2 weeks prior, we won pretty convincingly, and to actually have a real fight against the Dogs, we won by about 7 goals in the end. But it was a real footy match, and it doesn't get any bigger than the Queen's birthday clash against Collingwood, who are in really good form as well.
You got a long break in between games, which is actually quite rare in AFL these days to have the 9 days. 6 days last week into 9 days. What's some of the different things that you would do during the week going into Collingwood?
9 days, usually you can have a few beers after the game, Max. As you know, we had Chunk's 250th, which I actually didn't go to.
What a bizarre way to answer the question.
No, I had my partner's dad's 60th, so I had a few beers and we spent the weekend at Crown, actually. So that's something different you can do on a 6-day break, and 6-day breaks are based on recovery. But obviously you get a bit of extra rest, and you can probably get a bigger training session in there in the middle there as well. So yesterday was a big hit out, and we'll have another one on Friday, I think.
Oh, don't worry about honouring the skip or anything. Maxie, tell us how was the night with Jonesy?
I'm still taken back by the answer to the last question, but the difference between a 6 and 9 day break is you can get on the piss. Look, to honour Jonesy the way we did, we've actually been okay in milestone games the last 2 or 3, but before that we were deplorable. We really let our greats of the club down. So to play for Jonesy's 250th, who's a 3-time best and fairest winner, 5-year captain, potentially get Nita for the most games, although Nita didn't sound like he liked that idea last week. To do that was great. We tried to get him a goal at the end, a couple of little hit-outs that went amiss, and he actually had a shot that didn't get anywhere near the goal. So 251 this week. It rolls on for Jonesy, and hopefully we can get a win against the Pies.
And he's been an absolute legend of the club. I understand he got a bit emotional at times last week.
Yeah, there was a little video made by the production team over the road at the G, which was very touching. Managed to have Jared Rivers and David Neitz, some past players, but the money shot was Bobby Jones at the end there, Nathan's firstborn daughter. It got the whole room crying, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess Nathan being such a family man, all the players saying all the nice things about him, and a bit of a montage over his career, but then to have Bobby and Jerry and even little Remy in a shot at the end saying "Good luck, Daddy," it set him off, and it set a few of us off as well. It's emotional watching those things and seeing someone's career over 250 games in a short video, and how much your family and your friends mean to you makes everyone a little bit emotional, and it was really touching.
Looking from a fan's point of view, there was a couple of nervous moments at the beginning of that Bulldogs game. Three goals on the trot, obviously, but the way the group is able to now respond with that level-headedness and maturity must be really pleasing.
Yeah, it is. It is a sign of maturing of the group. Last year and previous years before I was at the club, I guess if a team got a run on, they'd keep getting runs on. Now we've actually come up with ways of stopping that, and then finding the footy ourselves and being able to be such a good scoring team. We're starting to get control of games now, and being able to control the game and hold that. And it's a real sign of all the younger guys coming through and the maturity of the list now.
Unfortunately, with all the good news in the last 6 weeks, and mainly on the weekend, some really good news, but some poor news as well. In the first quarter, teammate and fellow backman Jake Lever went down with a season-ending injury. Two-part question. Look at me, I'm giving in 2 questions in one.
Yeah.
Who's going to take that spot? And also, how's Jake going?
Jake's Jake. So he's holding on well. He's putting on a brave face, but no doubt internally he's shattered. Moving from a footy club, like I did last year, if I had a fell with a knee, it's gut-wrenching for us, especially in the back line where he's going to be sorely missed. He's really finding some form and playing some really good football, and he's an integral part to not only our team, but a team within the team, which is the back line. And I think to fill in the role, it could be anyone between Sam Frost, Joel Smith, I think, has been putting his hand up in the VFL, and Josh Wagner, who had a really good start to the year and is probably stiff not to be playing now. So, I'm happy to throw my hand up and play loose in the back line like he did. So, but yeah, obviously you got to feel for Jake, and if I was to pick one, I think Joel Smith would be a perfect fit with the way he jumps at the ball and his athleticism.
So you just want to go back to your 2017 role?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a nice easy role, just sitting there not playing on anyone, and when they've got the ball, just get someone else to pick up your man like Jake has been. But it's a cushy job.
Nice. Talking about 2017, looking back at Queen's birthday, what were your memories from that? Would have been your first one?
Yeah, I mean, amazing day with the freeze, the M&D, and it was such a tight game. And to finish the way we did, Watsy's not here anymore. He kicked the winning goal. I started that whole chain with my brutal spoil on the line of defence, but it was probably the highlight for me. But yeah, if you run the tape, it's a pretty good one. But
you want out the tape?
Well, you can play it on the podcast. I'm not sure, but it is. I've watched it a few times. There's a free shot on the wall somewhere at the footy club of the spoil. But it was actually an amazing day. Up there with the Anzac Eve game for me in terms of the crowd and the atmosphere. But no big occasion this week with 2 teams flying, so it'll be even bigger this year.
I know this interview's about you because we got you here, but every question, even the ones that aren't about you, has come back to you, which is an incredible talent. So I really rate that. Obviously, Queen's birthday means something else this week as well. Someone who's fresh to the club, but also with the Essendon connection to the Daniher family. The way I see Neale would probably be different to you because I see him from a very Melbourne point of view, been here for 9 years. But tell us a little bit about your work with Neale and what Freeze M&D means to you.
I guess because Neale's had a connection with both the Essendon and Melbourne Football Club, so I've seen it unfold over the years. And playing with Joey Daniher, and Neale's had a big part of Essendon when I was there. When we had the year off, when we were training as a group, Neale would come down to training and talk to us, and just when he speaks in front of a group, you can't help but listen and just be gobsmacked with what he's been able to do over the years. They said he had a year or 2 to live, and he's still kicking now, and he still looks like he's got a lot of time left in him. And for what he's doing for the cause is unbelievable. And I know he's very highly respected at Essendon, at Melbourne, and with the wider community. And we all love him, obviously.
I think the way that he's been able to handle it with such humour and humility is just incredible, and just a mark of the man. Yeah,
the one that gets me is he's raised $30 million over the 4 years, which is a phenomenal amount. But he's not going to see a piece of that pie. So the beast will get him before he gets a chance to use that $30 million on himself. So that's an incredibly selfless act, and I mean, to put that in football terms, we're always trying to become more selfless as a team, and to have Neale speak to us later in the week, and in the last few Queen's birthdays we've had him speak to us, and he talks about this topic of selfless and playing for each other. I know his situation's a little bit more different to us, but to be able to take a little bit out of that onto Queen's birthday will be good.
Yeah, and so many great initiatives by the footy club to help raise some money, and one of those is, of course, the Zurich Walk to the G, which all the fans, I'm sure, will be getting behind and putting those beanies on and really showing their support to fight M&D.
Yeah, and they usually let a couple of the injured players and VFL guys that aren't playing, they do the Walk to the G as well. So I've done the walk. I've done the walk about 3 or 4 times. There's a lot of people. Usually a lot of people singing the song the whole way down, Melbourne supporters. There's stuff to do at Federation Square before you get down there. So if you haven't done it, I recommend it. And if you've done it, you're probably going to do it again because it was so much fun. So make sure you get down to the walk to the G.
Yeah, certainly. And thanks so much to Zurich as well for their support and getting behind that cause as well. The other thing is, of course, the big slide. A lot of talk about what all the coaches are going to be wearing. Still under wraps with Goody. I want to ask you guys, though, if you were to go down the slide, what would you go as?
Jeez, I wouldn't go in my Speedos. The boys have a running gag. They've probably got the worst rig at the club. So apart from Bernie Vince maybe, but I'd probably wear a pig suit or something like that with the nickname Pig. Maybe that'd suit.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, you reckon that'd be good?
Yeah.
Peppa Pig.
I like the fact...
Peppa Pig's a good one.
Yeah.
I like something that will create controversy. So
Of course. Really?
I'd want
Never have guessed.
I'd want all 18 coaches to wear something that's quite controversial to how the media's been portraying them throughout the season.
The bloody media.
So potentially, like Nathan Buckley go down as Mick Malthouse, as a Goody to go down in his full camp gear with a brick on his head.
Yeah, don't mind that.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be very funny.
I think that would be good, yes.
Stewie Dew to go as Tom Lynch. Like all this stuff, I reckon would be great. And to be honest, it's all going to help and create more money and more awareness for MND. So the better their costumes are, the better it will be.
Well, I know there's been some suggestions for Bucks with the beard to go as Maxi Gawn.
Well, that would be quite ridiculous if I'm playing in that day. There's a lot of bearded characters that he could go as. Probably the most famous would be Thor, but hopefully he could potentially do that.
I don't know if Bucks could pull off Thor.
Have you seen his rig?
No, I have not seen his
It's
rig.
been impressive for 20 odd years.
I don't know if he has the skin like Thor. He'd be freckly and, I don't know. Thor's a bit of a rooster.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Bucks, not so much.
He's growing the beard for something, and I think it's tactical going into this. I think he's going to go as a bearded character.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not me, because that would be quite weird. But yep.
Maxi, a big matchup for you this week, particularly the All-Australian Ruck Battle in some ways.
Big Mason Cox? No. So Brodie's someone that I've watched a lot over the last 5 years, and I've always rated his ability to get the ball, and his ruck work is up there as one of the best in the AFL. So I'm excited for that battle. We're two completely different players, which has been written about a lot over the last couple of weeks. But the ruck battle, although Michael likes to think he plays on someone, the ruck battle is probably the only one-on-one battle left on the ground. The forwards, it's almost 6v6, forwards and defenders. Midfielders, they don't even know they have a man. And wingers hardly play on each other as well. So it's pretty much just a ruck battle. So you will see a one-on-one battle. You will see someone probably get over the top of the other. Hopefully my teammates in Melbourne can win the game, and that will probably help me get the edge.
Okay. All right. Hibbo, talking about people playing on each other, and one of them during the week, one of the big news items during the week was Tommy McDonald re-signing. Great to see. But to get those big deals, thinking about a move forward maybe?
Well, it would be nice. I've been saying to the coaches for a long time, put me forward and I'll kick a bag. The amount of times the ball gets into that forward line, I think Marty and the property steward at the footy club could probably kick a few goals. So I'd like to play forward, but Tommy, well done. 4-year deal. There's no money left in the cap, so I'll probably be done at the end of my contract, which is nice. So, but he's a super player. He's in really good form. Hogs, Tommy, they're such a good duo down there, and it's a massive thing for the footy club to re-sign him for another 4 years, and it's setting up our future now.
You think the way we're moving the ball, a property steward could kick a bag of 5 for us?
Yep.
Geez, the lid is off, according to you, isn't it?
Well, the lid is off, according to the fans as well. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be back. Thanks to Zurich, of course, we are here. We are going to have some questions from our fans with questions from the outer.
Thanks to our co-major partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich. For over 100 years, they've been ensuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and truly love Melbourne.
All right, welcome back to Inside Melbourne. We're here thanks to Zurich, of course. We've got Maxi Gawn with us. We've got Michael Hibberd. first question, thanks to our good friends at Zurich. This one we have every week. What do you truly love?
I'll say this knowing they'll probably get a bit of stick, but I love food. All the boys would vouch for that. Food's probably my one weakness.
That was
Well, I got a lot.
pretty obvious when I Googled you, Michael. Come up with 186 centimetres, which is true, yes.
187.
And 93 kilos, which most people in the football world try to mirror up their height and weight. So I'm 208, 108, and a midfielder would be 185 and 85 kilos. You're 7 kilos different and the wrong way.
Yeah, well, on the BMI index, I'm actually overweight, which isn't very good for a professional athlete. I can't explain it. I've been 91 kilos since I was 18 years old.
I can explain it. You just said your favourite thing's food. So
yeah, but I feel like I run it off so I can justify it.
What
eating.
food?
I like Mexican food. That's probably my favourite. But I like to think I eat reasonably healthy. It's just, don't know. The Hibberd gene. The Hibberd gene's not a good one. My old man's a big unit. My brothers are big. Mum's side of the family kind of keps me.
I was going to say, don't go there with
down.
Mum.
No, she keeps me pegged down a little bit. They're reasonably fit. So if I had the Hibberd gene on both sides, I'd be in a bit of strife. But yeah, obviously I am in strife. I'm 93 kilos and overweight, Max.
Right. Well, each and every week we get a whole lot of questions on social media from the fans, which are questions from the outer. This week we've got a stack. The one that caught my eye was one from Clint Stanaway.
what did Clint say?
Will I still have a job in July?
I'll answer that two ways. Would no at the Melbourne Football Club and probably no at Channel 9 as well, potentially.
Oh, okay.
I did have a little glimpse at some of the soccer coverage with Czech Republic game and whatnot. And Clint's he's in holiday mode at the moment, so I'd expect a little bit better. I know the World Cup hasn't started yet, so
I think he's sunning himself in his budgies on the
He
beach
is.
in Europe somewhere at the moment.
he's saving his big guns for the World Cup, and I hope it's a lot better than what he's been given at
Big
the moment.
guns? What big guns? We're talking about Stanners, aren't we?
You got more of a vendetta against Clint than I do.
Yeah, well, I want the podcast job. Quite happy having you as a co-host too.
Beautiful.
All right, well, let's get stuck into some of these, Hivo. All right, from our fans. One from Kieran. Who's on the pre-game tunes?
Maxi Gawn, actually. He sets up the podcast.
DJ Maxi.
What do you
The
call
podcast.
it?
I don't play
not
a
the
podcast.
podcast. What's the little thing?
It's a playlist.
The
Speaker.
boom. The
Speaker.
boom.
Yeah, UE boom.
The UE boom. You set that up, and it's hit or miss. But there's some good ones and there's some poor ones we have to skip through every week. But Maxi's
What's the
in charge.
go-to tune?
Well, I've got a playlist that's got 200 songs on it, and that's the one that gets played. It's called your Footy 2018 playlist, and then that gets played every week. And I don't really know the bad ones, but the thing about Spotify, the thing that annoys me is you can't remove a song from a playlist once it's on. You just have to start
I think you can,
have to
mate.
start a
I
new
just don't know if you know
playlist.
the app well enough.
No, you just have to start a new playlist,
Yeah,
which is
right.
quite bizarre. So unfortunately, there's some songs that I'd probably want to get off now, but they're on. So there's 200 songs. The odds of them coming on is what
One in 200, mate.
1 in 200, which is crazy figures.
Yeah. It's not too bad. The boys get up and about for it, but yeah, maybe snip a couple or start a new list without the ones we do want, mate.
Is there a karaoke king at the club?
There's the people that like singing.
Mm-hmm.
James Harms loves to sing.
Any good?
Yeah, he's impressed a few of us over the last year. He jumps up at every opportunity. And he's quite hilarious, actually, when he gets up.
I reckon Harmsy will 100% before the age of 40 will audition for Australia's Got Talent.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. We might have to get Harmsy on the podcast and get a little
We won't
rendition.
do that. No, we won't do that.
Okay.
He won't get through the next round, but he'll try going to the Australia's Got Talent.
Harmsy on the podcast. You want to keep your job? Jesus.
Righto, Maxi, hit us.
This is from Metzi94. I think it was thrown at me, but I'll throw it to you, Michael. Excluding yourself, so excluding me. Who has the worst tattoo at the club?
James Harms has a lot of average ones. Nathan Jones. Do you want me to stop or just sit at one? There's a lot. Sam Frost has some really silly ones.
Sam Frost is funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it?
He's got like a weird thing on his...
Popeye or something?
Yeah, Popeye on his bum.
Popeye on his bum.
And then he's got another thing in his rib cage.
Popeye on his bum. Hang on a second.
Yeah, well, he showers in his Speedo, so you don't see it that often. But, yeah, it's a pretty bit of a strange one.
Right. And your one?
There is some... Lyndon Dunn, I'm going to pod him because we're playing him this week, so it's great. But he has the worst 3 tattoos combined, one on each pec and then one across his neck, and then they are combined to look like one tattoo, and it's horrible. So he's got like I think it's a parrot, but I think it's the bird that's got something to do with birth or something. I don't know what it's called. And that's on one pec, and then he's got his grandma on the other pec, which is a good photo, but it doesn't suit the parrot. And then he's got a smooth saying, never made a skillful pirate, which is a bizarre saying, and all 3 of them look horrible together. So Dunny, I hope you're listening, which I know you are. That's
of course.
Cool. Yep.
Big D's fan secretly. What about yours?
My tattoo is work like a captain, play like a pirate. Which I got.
Where is that?
On
I've never seen
on
it.
my foot, which I got on a Mad Monday in 2012. Which
Always a good idea to get a tat on
I
Mad
personally
Monday.
don't think that's my fault. Who puts a tattoo parlour across the road from the Inkerman Hotel? I mean, that's just... I'm always going to get a tattoo, aren't I? So, in fact, I think there was 3 tattoos that day.
Well, whose idea was it to have the Mad Monday at the Inkerman Hotel?
It's a good question because the Inkerman Hotel has some interesting locals
Exactly right.
that joined in the Mad Monday and made it a very interesting Mad Monday. Hence why I had to get across the road and get a little tattoo. But that's in the past. We don't do Mad Mondays anymore. We don't even drink alcohol, do we?
Well, no. But I feel like if you do have one, Rising Sun's not a bad place to have it.
Given the Rising Sun, the spiritual home, a
We
little
go
plug.
there every year.
That's
not
good.
really have them, yeah, that's right.
All right. This one from K. Rob. Who has the most OCD in the club? It could actually be Maxi with his wanting to marry up the weights and heights and...
Oh, I'm not sure. Probably maybe Jack Viney, something like that. It's a weird one. It was always Brendan Goddard at Essendon when we were there. He'd match his boots and we'd mix them up and match them up and he'd crack the sads. But I don't know who has it here. You tell me, Max.
Angus Brayshaw's got some interesting stuff with his helmet. Obviously, the helmet's come into his football career late, so he doesn't like wearing it. He hates wearing it. So as soon as he gets off the ground and at the half-time, quarter-time, three-quarter time, he takes it off, gives it to Clint Stad, John Stanaway, who's a trainer at the club. Wears it very little around in the warm-up, and he's only wearing it strictly when he's playing the football. So I'm not sure if that's OCD. He might just get annoyed with the clip under the helmet.
It'd
But
get a bit hot under there as well, I would have thought.
I think he says it does get hot, and it doesn't help him in terms of looks. Although
I
not
feel
much
like
does.
I feel like it might help him a lot. They just need to get it to wrap around the face a little bit more.
He needs a broken nose, so we're going to have something covering that as well.
So, Angus.
I've got a question here. Mally 1603. What does Petraka do to be so annoying?
Everything.
And?
He's very funny, actually. I'll give him that. But the amount of average gags that come out of his mouth compared to the good ones, he might try to say 100 jokes a day and maybe 3 are good.
It's a
So
strike rate
he's
issue.
in your face all the time. So although he can make you laugh, he can annoy.
I'd rather people swing out and strike out than not swing at all. So I'm glad he's trying. But
Yeah, he does try. That's one thing he does do. He tries. He just loves to be the centre of attention, Christian, which is a good thing or a bad thing. So similar to you, Max, in a way.
coming from you with these answers.
Yeah, it's true.
Maxi, there's a ton of questions on here for you as
Yep.
well. No surprise. A lot of them centre around the beard.
Yeah.
How long is it? How do you maintain it?
That's my fault because I've got a beard on my face, but I'm slowly getting over talking about it. I just have it there. So I used to be like, oh, the beard. But now I don't really like talking about it. But
Okay.
there are some beard questions, and I'll answer them. I don't put that much time into it. I don't have product in there. I get my head shaved every 3 weeks, and then I'll probably do a little trim.
Okay.
That answers probably every question about the beard, and no one's
There are a lot of them.
No one's living in there. No, I haven't washed it for a good year.
What's the strangest thing you've found in there?
Strangest thing I found. I found a bit of yogurt. Chobani. I mean, the great people at Chobani, which are yeah.
Well, there's a strong rumour a few years back what you used to hide in your beard, Max. Cigarettes.
Well, yeah, and the great people at Peter Jackson. There may have been a PJ Gold in there.
Couple of Daniel Blues in the beard back in the day.
Which is bizarre to think that I could hold a cigarette in my beard. I mean, it's a great story and it's a great.
Funny.
It's awesome when JB tells it, but
Yeah.
I mean, practically that can't work, can it?
That's pretty thick. I reckon you could. Yeah. Anyway, I'll run with it.
Just save a bit of yogurt. It's fine for next time.
Yep.
All right, one more. Are you the one unfit bloke at the footy team?
I don't know who come up with that question. It's a bit of a stitch
Jacob?
up, but no, I'm not the only one. Jordan Lewis, I beat him in 2 time trials this year, which is good. And Harley Ballick, I say he battled a couple this year.
You don't need to throw Harley Ballick under the bus.
Anyone,
Poor
mate,
guy hasn't played a game yet.
The more I throw under the bus, the better I look. I am bringing up the back of the pack though. So, but on the game day, I like to think I run as much as anyone else. Just in the time trials, I'm no good at them. I don't know why.
I'm just going to throw a question to myself if that's okay.
Oh,
Go on.
no worries. Just take over.
Wendy at WW Waters, who was your best netball coach? My gut feel is this is Wendy Frost, Sam Frost's mum, who was my netball coach in year 9, 10 and 11. We made state finals. I got benched a lot. There was some guys taller than me that were better shooters and better keepers.
Guys taller than you.
Yes, but I did play wing attack, which is a bizarre position for a 208 centimetre player, but not a bad passer, relatively mobile, which you know, Michael. And my best netball coach was Wendy Frost.
I feel like wing attack's just where you kind of put the duds. Is that fair to say? Wing attack,
Wing defence is the dud.
Well, someone's got to play on the dud, and it's wing attack.
That's the wing attack.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not the best player. That's your goal attacks, your centres, your goal shooters,
yeah.
and whatnot.
But
But
you put the liabilities over in the
I was in the
wing
best.
areas.
I was obviously in the best 7 males at the club to play netball, though.
How many were there?
7?
11 maybe, and the other 4 were duds. So
Okay, there you go.
I was in the starting 7.
Well done.
Thanks,
Proud
mate.
of you, mate.
Thank you.
Ever play netball?
I did actually. I played netball over football in my year 8 year at school.
That's funny. I didn't see you at the state titles.
Yeah, no, well, mate, I went to Mount Aaron. We weren't a very good school at anything.
I forgot that you went to Mount Aaron.
Yeah, so a few of my mates played, and I think, I don't know, I thought it'd be funny, but I was all right, but we were very average. We got smashed every week. So.
Our producer, Scotty, went to Peninsula High School, so he's looking down on you, going, "You went to Mount Aaron, you idiot."
Yeah, I know. Peninsula High Rollers over there. We just battle us down at Mount Aaron, and not many people even got through year 12 when I was at school. So.
So the netball career was obviously a high, but I understand, and it came out on SEN during the week, that there's squash games going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That came out on SEN.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the board games.
Yes, wow. No, on Tuesday I had an eventful day. I played snooker with Oscar McDonald. I got wiped off the table. He's an incredible snooker player. But
Okay.
I felt like I didn't get wiped off the table. I held my own. Followed by squash with Oscar McDonald and Jordan Lewis at Kooyong. Smashed Oscar, lost to Jordan. So Jordan's the favourite there.
Just seeing if No, I'm pretty sure you still got my number. I wasn't I invited, mate?
You live in Carnegie. It's too far away.
We're right next to each other, mate.
He thinks Mulwyn and Carnegie is right next to each
They
other.
are.
I'm paying 500,000 more for a square metre than you are, so you're a long way away.
I'm a battler from Mount Aaron, mate. I can't afford to live in Melbourne.
And then board games later on that Arvo, which is board games is a great way to spend your day off if you've got nothing to do.
Categories, apparently.
Scattergrees is a warm-up game that gets your brain. I should have played some Scattergrees before the podcast. That gets your brain going, which is good. And then some longer games like Risk. If you ever heard of Risk,
No.
I'm sure the people that are listening to the podcast are going crazy right now. Risk, he plays Risk. Yes, I do play Risk. It's a very, very good game.
What is Risk? Is it?
It's you got to move an army into a different territory.
Oh, that's enough. Yeah,
that's
I
enough.
don't care.
Well, it's a long game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think probably enough of the board games. This weekend, on Monday, Queen's birthday, massive one for the club.
It is. I touched on it before, but the Queen's birthday game is one of the ones that you probably circle on your calendar on the actually that's a cliche. No one actually circles games in their calendar. No one has calendars on their fridge anymore. That's just not a thing. But it's something you look forward to every year. Especially we've been a bad club for a long time, so our blockbuster game has been Queen's Birthday. So now we've got a few more games in there, which we're getting some crowds for, which is good. But Queen's Birthday still holds a special place, and obviously with Freeze M&D coming on in the last 4 years, makes it even more special. And we're against a team that is a nice little rivalry building. All of our sort of heads in terms of the players and probably supporters alike don't really go past round 23. It was a disappointing way to finish off the year, and it wasn't Collingwood's fault, it was our fault. So we're not going to blame it on them, but that's something we probably want to get some retribution for this week, and also continue building our brand and play against a quality opposition.
Hibbo, same feelings, especially around that round 23 game?
Yeah, definitely. I guess it still burns in your guts what happened last year. So we'd like to have another win and make it 7 in a row. And it's a huge game. Obviously, Collingwood, they're flying as well. We're playing some pretty good footy, and like Maxie said, it's probably the biggest game of the year. I actually have a calendar on my fridge, which has been embarrassing, saying that no one has them, Max. So I highlight this game every year. No, I don't really. But yeah, these are games you look forward to. This one and the Anzac Eve, and obviously if you can get to finals, you look forward to them. But this is probably the biggest game of the year for us, and no bigger than the Pies this week, we're both in the top 8.
Well, I think it's going to be an absolute belter. Good luck on the weekend. Great to have you on board, and thanks so much for spending some time on Inside Melbourne.
Thanks, Katie.
Well,
and Max, or?
No. Just thanks.
Sorry. Okay.
Thanks, Max. You've been superb.
Thank you.
Maxie, you have been superb.
Yes. I have been good. Thanks to you as well, Katie. I mean, you've been really good. I think next week potentially I might be able to do the opening line and thank the sponsors in Zurich. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it this week, but next week that could be.
We'll work on that, all right?
Yep, we'll work on that.
During the week, do some training.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for this week. So anyone who can, the beanies are $30, $20, I'm being told. Pay $30. That's $10 more to go to MND, which is a great cause. So make sure you wear a beanie. I want to see a sea of blue when I'm out there in the middle of the G. And that'll make me definitely nice and happy going into the game. Yeah,
it certainly would. And don't forget to get involved on that walk for the G as well. Thanks to Zurich for getting behind that and for getting behind Inside Melbourne once again. Thanks, Maxie. Thanks, Hibbo. And best of luck to you boys for the weekend for Queen's Birthday against Collingwood.
Go D's.
Go D's.